see if anybody shows up just for a couple seconds here. I really should announce when I go that I'm going to go live. Here's the thing. I'm a very spontaneous person. Like I just, if I feel like it, I do it. That's an addict mentality. So I really don't know when I'm going to go live. I just do it. Apparently looking just like hell, but it doesn't matter because y'all love me just the way that I am, right? I know you do. What I wanted to talk to you guys today, hi, I guess there's a couple of people here, about today is my ascent or descent, I should say, into opiate addiction and how it started. And look at the bags under my eyes. Holy crap. Gosh. Anyway, besides all that. Okay. Some of you guys know how my addiction started. Some of you don't. So, back I'm an 80s girl. You picture me with my big hair, my spiral perm hair, and my bright blue eyeshadow, and my ruby red cheeks, and my long red fingernails. Yeah, I was the typical 80s girl. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I love the 80s. They were the bomb, right? I mean, it's an honor to have lived through them. And so back in the 80s, can you hear me? Oh, yeah, you can. Last time I went live, I had my mute button on. And so back in the 80s, I partied. I did some cocaine. I did some meth. I loved cocaine. Like cocaine was the shit. It made me feel euphoric. But you know what though? It didn't stick. Like I didn't descend down into the pit of cocaine addiction. And I had never really even heard of opiates. One time I was at a friend's house, and this was back in the 80s. I think probably around 83, maybe 84, somewhere around there. I was at a friend's house, and they had found this red pill on the floor. They had just moved in, and they found this red pill on the floor, and it was a Darvocet. You older people will remember what Darvocets were. I had no idea. So, my friend told me, oh, it's a pain pill. Some people take it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And it didn't even I moved on. I was like, okay. And then, in 2001, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and, immediately started chemo. And so I shaved my head because I knew my hair was going to fall out. Shaved my head. I knew it was going to be painful. I was ready, and got prescribed medications. Antidepressant was one of them they prescribed me, and pain meds for the chemo because you get joint pains and stuff because I was on Taxol and carboplatin for ovarian cancer. And so I started taking the pills, like they were prescribed. But God, I just felt amazing after I would take these pills. And it was like I knew nothing about opiate addiction. Zero. Okay. I'm this stay-at-home soccer mom type who just, I knew nothing. And so I thought, well, if one feels good, wonder what two will feel like. See, here's the thing, and this is one of my pet peeves with how doctors prescribe opiates. No one sat me down and said, I'm going to prescribe you opiates. They are highly, highly addictive. We are going to count your scripts. we are going to make sure that you only are taking what you're supposed to, and we're not only going to prescribe them for a short period of time. Nobody sat me down and told me the dangers of opiates. Nobody. And that is a responsibility of the doctors. I'm sorry, I do take some responsibility because I grew my addiction. Yes, but I was ignorant. And so were a lot of other people. A lot of other people that got started on opiates were ignorant. They had no idea the dangers. They were not told. And so here I am, just thinking, oh, wow, this is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't feel anything, like no pain, no depression, no trauma, no nothing. It was pure bliss. It solved every problem I had. It was I thought, what have I been missing my whole life? This is the most amazing thing. And that was pretty much right off the bat. So I started taking more, and more and more. And they were prescribing me more and more. I was on morphine. I was on Percocet, Perc 10s for breakthrough pain. And I was on Provigil, which is a speed. It's an amphetamine for the down effect that the pain meds, made me. So they gave me something to uplift me. So I was, flying high. I was, and these were prescribed by a doctor. So I wasn't doing anything wrong because this is a legal prescription from a doctor, right? But I started taking more and more, and my scripts started running out early. And that presented a problem. I didn't see it, though. I didn't see that presented a problem. Unless you've been through addiction, which you all know, that you trick yourself into believing your own stuff, right? Your own bullshit. I just felt like I was just in more and more pain, and the pain meds just, they just weren't cutting it. And so I would complain to the doctors, and they would up the dosage. They would give me those controlled release morphines, but I would cut them in half. And, but after a few years, they were not giving me enough. Like my addiction to them had grown to such an extent that there just weren't enough. I was running out way too soon. And so, I found people. I found other people that had pain meds and started buying them from them. But you know what, though? I still did not see that a problem was growing. And like I always say, unless you've been through addiction, you're going to say, oh, bullshit, you had to have known. No. Nope. And, it's like these blinders come over our eyes and we can't see what's really happening. And so I started buying them from people and snorting them. And once that started, once I started really descending, started trying other things. Like I'd let my guard down enough that I started trying other things, and I did not realize what I was doing. I really, honestly, to God, did not. I tried bath salt, and I snorted it. I didn't like it, burnt. And but somebody introduced me to smoking it off of tinfoil. That was the shit. That's what I sold my possessions on, was bath salt. Because that that was amazing. I stopped all opiates during my, that's when I tried heroin. Somebody suggested to me, and I'm going to say this, and I really am embarrassed, but I am honest with you guys. I told you I would be from the start, and I talk about how I used my own children. My son, who was 18, 19, maybe 20, said, "Mom, you're wasting all your money buying all these pills." He said, "You could just try heroin and save money. And it's the same thing as Percocet. That's what they make it out of." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Why don't I do that? That sounds like a really great idea. Start heroin." Yeah. And I did. I snorted my first line of heroin. And that was, in the beginning, like I've said before, I swore that I would never put a needle in my arm. And it didn't take long. I'm thinking a month or two, the most, before my best friend introduced me to the needle. And I was only going to try it once to see what it was like. Famous last words, right? Started smoking crack. Once that dam broke and I started using heroin, it was like all bets were off. I was in the lifestyle, and I was so deep that I could not see what my life had become. And I remember, now I'm going to share another personal thing with you guys. I remember the first time I considered selling my ass. I was with my best friend, and we needed to get high or get not sick. That's what it was. It wasn't about getting high. It was getting not sick. Because I didn't have enough money to stay high. I was on SSI. I fixed income. Once my money was gone, it was gone. It was just hustle after that. So I only could get enough money to not be sick. And so she and we knew this guy that was, dealing bags of dope. And she said, "Do you think he'd sleep with me? You think he'd trade?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but if he'd do that for you, well, maybe he'd like both of us." Guys like that kind of thing. I'm in my late 40s. I lost 85 pounds, but I looked really good. People used to say, because my son's name is Matt, and they used to say, "Matthew's mama's got it going on." And I did. And I used that to my advantage. And I remember that first time that was a consideration. There was no hesitation. No hesitation. I didn't stop to think about my morals. I didn't stop to think what made me look like. I didn't stop to think the emotional toll it was going to take on me when I finally got back in my right mind. And we did it. And we made $150 for a half-hour work. And I thought, and all of it went to dope and crack. All of it, every bit of it. And I was like, wow, look what I can do. And so that's what I started doing with drug dealers. I made excuses for it. Oh, it's just stacks. It's just, it's no big deal. I mean, it's now, like after I got clean, it's a whole different situation. I can see it for what it was. But I think back of what I would do. And it was degrading. It was demoralizing. It was against my morals that I had. at one time. But I didn't see it. Addiction changes everything about you. Everything. The way you think about yourself, the way you think about your body, the way you think about everything, like it just so blackens your life in so many ways. So when you get clean, you're like, you feel really dirty. And you feel like you've been through a war. And so, you know, I was doing bags of heroin. I started shooting up, started selling my ass, but I said I would never steal. I may do this, but I will never steal. I would never stoop to that level because I'm, you know, honor amongst thieves type of mentality. Yeah, that didn't last long because the sickness when you introduce heroin, pill addiction is a whole different situation to heroin addiction. My tolerance rose so high. I was doing 4 or 5 bags at a time, plus shooting Dilaudid 8s, anything I put in my body. So my tolerance was through the roof, and I needed a lot to not be sick. So that means that I've got to lower my bottom even more. So I got to start stealing, breaking windows at the fair of people who left idiot people who left money and shit in their cars, stealing money out of people's wallets, stealing medications out of people's bathroom medicine cabinets, anything. I was in what can I get mode. That's all that was on my mind is, okay, who are you and what can you do for me? Who are you and how can I con you? What can I say to con you? What can I do to con you? That's what the mode was. Hustle, 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 hustle. And every person was just a means to an end. What can you do for me? And how can I get high? Not sick. I never, not once, ever nodded out. Never. Opiates, heroin gave me energy. The higher I got, the speedier I got. You know, that's why it was so hard for me to stop, because of what it did for me. It didn't make me all low and naughty. It made me up and able to clean my house and able to go kayaking and able to go swimming and able to do all these things that I couldn't without it. And that's why the low, like when you're in withdrawal, it's fucking hell. It's fucking hell. You know, even just the mental part, because you're used to having that to get you up and going. And so, but my best friend got sober. She got arrested, got clean, got sober. And I saw that she could do it. And I realized I wanted to do it. But you know what? I wasn't ready. You know, a part of me was. So I went to rehab, went to the halfway house. But I really wasn't ready. When I came back home, I wasn't done. And I just, I couldn't even admit I was an addict. Even in the halfway house, I couldn't admit I was an addict. I could not admit it. I could not say, my name is Avalon and I'm an addict. Pride. I didn't think I was. I just thought maybe things got a little out of control. If I just tweaked it and, had a little bit more control, maybe then, I'd probably, oh my gosh, so fucking ridiculous. But, after I overdosed 3 times in 5 months, and I also got Hep C and gave it to other people, knowing I had Hep C. I got diagnosed with Hep C when I went to treatment the first time, and I went home knowing I had Hep C and shared needles with people. Who does that? An addict does that. A person that has lost control and doesn't care about anybody but herself does that. Yeah, shameful. And so I, the rest is history. I went and got clean, and 6 years later, here I am. And it's been the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, and I've been through a lot in my life. But I do take responsibility for my actions, that I allowed myself to get so deep into addiction, that I allowed myself. But I do hold doctors responsible that recklessly prescribed me opiates. It was literally like handing candy to a baby. I had no idea. And that is a responsibility that they have. And then the people come in their offices and are like, oh, are you an addict? I'm not. You know what? How you grew me. You grew my addiction, knowing what you were doing when you're prescribing all those medications. But then all of a sudden, the light gets put on you and you're like, oh, you addict. Well, why am I an addict, I wonder? You had a hand in it. And that's why these people that are going to prison now from the pharmaceutical companies and these doctors that are being busted because of the scripts they're writing, it's about damn time, because they have some responsibility in this. Then you have people like veterans that are or cancer patients that need the medication, that can't get the medication because of the opioid epidemic. So now people are suffering that need the medication. It's just such an insanity. You did this to me. All it would have taken was to sit me down and explain stuff to me and monitor those meds. Monitor. When I got caught writing a different date on a script, the doctor just said she didn't want to see me anymore. I was not held accountable. I'm glad I didn't go to jail, but maybe I should have. I mean, I don't know. I said that in another video and about how I was glad I didn't go to jail that time, that the pharmacist and my doctor knew I had changed the date on a script, and neither one of them turned me in. And I said, I'm so glad I didn't go to jail. And somebody commented under the video and was like, you say you're glad you didn't go to jail, but then you say, I don't know. I got clean, things worked out, but should they have turned me in? I don't know. But we can't blame the addict, really. Like, we can to a certain extent. Like, once I knew I had a problem, it was up to me. So, and it is a disease. I used to be one of those people who thought addiction was not a disease. It's just a matter of willpower. You just got to try. Just walk away. Just change. Like, my dad was an alcoholic, and I used to think, just stop, for Christ's sake. What the fuck is the problem? Just stop. If you really want to stop, you'll stop. My dad went through World War II, earned 4 Bronze Stars for bravery, came back all fucked up, and that was his coping mechanism. And I didn't understand that. I've been clean from opiates for over a year and still have major problems with energy and waking up feeling like crap. Is there anything that helps with that? That is the hardest thing to overcome, is that lack of energy, the lethargy that comes with removing the opiates from the brain. I was clean 2 years and I still had not reset. And I had to go, I chose to go on Suboxone for a while because I thought that would help. It didn't really. Kratom helps me. It doesn't cure everything, but when I wake up in the morning, I take 3 teaspoons of Kratom. It gets me started in my day, and that is how I can function sometimes, because my brain, even after 6 years, I'm just as lazy as I can possibly be. And I don't want anybody to think, feel hopeless, that it's never going to be any different. I don't know that it's not ever going to be any different. I may be like this for the rest of my life. I don't know. But I know I can't go back. So if I have to live like this lazy for the rest of my life, then that's what I'll have to do, because addiction changes your brain chemistry. It just does. I used to mop my floors every day and I had energy and I was good. This back when my kids were little. Once the addiction started, if I didn't have opiates, I could not move. My brain just stopped producing the feel good, the dopamine and the serotonin but the Kratom helps. I don't know if you're in a state where Kratom is legal, or if you even tried Kratom. But, I highly suggest it. I wouldn't suggest something I thought was a danger. I've been on it now for 3 years. And I have helped a lot of people get started on Kratom. Some keep taking it. Some just, they realize, that's not for them. But, if you need any information, kind of addicting. I used to be in rehab in a halfway house with somebody who was addicted to what is it? Cold pills. The MDA or the DMX. And you can be addicted to anything. Anything can be addicting. Anything. If you can't take Kratom because it's addicting for you, then of course don't take Kratom. Kratom changed my life too. And like I said, I don't say to you that I think Kratom is going to fix all your problems and you're just going to be wonderful if you take Kratom. No, it's a tool in my recovery. I work the steps of AA. I help others. I work on myself. I take Kratom. It's just a tool in my bag. You can't expect one thing to cure addiction because it just doesn't work that way. Yes, everything is addicting. We are made up as very addictive people. Like, I'm not sure about the gene. It's in the genes or it's all that stuff. Maybe it is. Yes. Sex. If you guys remember, like if you go look back some of my other videos, my partner Bernie is a porn addict, and he is now in recovery. He's been in recovery for 6 months. It almost destroyed us, and I'm still not over it. It's still something that we're working on. And I never looked at sex as an addiction before. I thought it was just just an excuse for wanting to, jerk off or just have affairs. But now that this thing that happened with him, and I know what kind of a man he is, it really had him in the grips. Teen sulfate has worked the best for me, but you eventually will come dependent. I don't even know what that is. Tiepatine? I don't know what that is. Let me write that down so I can do some research on it. There was something that I saw somebody do a video on a few years back, that he got something in the mail and it was just like an opiate, and he was becoming addicted to it, and maybe that was it. I don't know. Teen sulfate. I tried. There was one other thing that I tried, and that was called what was it called? It was a powder. It's from Russia. Somebody help me. What is it called? They prescribe it in Russia for mental issues or stress or something. Phenibut. I tried Phenibut around the same time that I tried Kratom, and the Phenibut I felt was a little dangerous for me. It was, I thought, something that might be a problem. It's PHENEBUT. But like, I do not suggest that if you have an addictive personality that you try it. I maybe I shouldn't even have mentioned it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just, if you are in recovery and you realize something is a problem, stop taking it. If you think Kratom is going to be a problem, stop taking it. Don't take it. Don't knowingly dip your toe into that pool, because you're going to sink right to the bottom. I had enough recovery under me that I knew Phenibut could be a danger for me, and so I walked away from it. Yeah. Yes. I found out, I was shocked that in the UK, they can buy codeine over the counter. Tylenol 3s. But yet Kratom is illegal? It's like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? You outlaw Kratom, but yet a person can walk in and buy Tylenol with codeine off the shelf? Just blew my mind, Where can you get what, Phenibut? I think you can get Amazon. You can get it from Amazon. And you can get it anywhere. It's completely legal. It is, you can get it. It's completely legal. Also, I found out that in Canada, you can get prescriptions for heroin. I was shocked. Here's the thing. I think it is a good idea, because if you're prescribed heroin, you get a job, you could go back to school because you're not committing crimes, you're not selling your ass, you're not living the life of a criminal, and you are under the doctor's care. And it is crazy, because it's in the having to find the money to support your habit that the crime comes about, and so if it's prescribed, and I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea. I don't see the US ever doing that. We're behind in so many things, like psilocybin. for depression. I tried psilocybin for, about 6 or 7 months a while back. And it helped my depression. But I was too scared to have it shipped here. I was a nervous wreck that the feds were going to be knocking on my door. And so I was like, I can't do this no more. I'm not going to do it. I can't take the chance. If I could go to a psychiatrist and have it prescribed to me, that would be great. But I live in a small town in Western New York, and we don't have that guy. Same with ketamine. Ketamine is making breakthroughs in depression therapy. I would love to join a trial. I would love to be able to try ketamine. I have depression. I have anxiety. I have dissociative identity disorder. I could really benefit from it. It's taking an eighth of a Suboxone twice a week just to get a couple good days a week. A bad thing. Good question, Mikey. Mike. Is it a bad thing? Boy, that's a hard one to answer. You really racked my brain with this. You kind of threw me because, gosh. Are you Are you prescribed these Suboxone, or are you buying them illegally? Are you, because I think, yes, if you are only using an eighth of a strip of Suboxone twice a week, and you are getting some benefit from it, you're not breaking any laws, you're not, I don't see a problem. There's people, they use marijuana maintenance. There's people that use all kinds of things to manage you, but at least you don't have a needle in your arm. And that's what I say about kratom. That's what I say about anything like that, is that you don't have a needle in your arm and you're not out there committing crimes. I would love to feel the relief of an eighth of a Suboxone twice a week. I miss that. And when you say that, feeling normal for those 2 days, I totally get what you're talking about. And it would be, if I could sit on here and say, oh no, you're a bad person because it's not true. I totally get it. I totally understand it. And if I could get prescribed one Suboxone a month, 1 8 milligram strip of Suboxone a month, then I could take a little piece now and then, I think that it would be a lot better than the threat of relapse, because I can't take the depression, or I can't take the feeling that my brain is just not resetting. I mean, I'm emotional because addiction is just, the damage that it does to your body, you never really recover. I mean, maybe there are people that do, but I haven't. And so I would, if I could find a doctor that would prescribe me one a month, absolutely, I'd probably do it. Yeah. And that's me being completely honest with you. I wouldn't take the chance of buying it from somebody or someone giving it to me, because I don't want to take that chance, but I would absolutely do it if I could get a prescription. Yes, bland all the time. Yes, lethargy, blah. There's no spark in life. It's just, yes, absolutely. And, and it gets daunting when it gets stretched out over a year, 2 years, and 3 years, and nothing's changing. Your brain is not resetting. And there's this fear of, am I going to be like this for the rest of my life? Because I don't know that I can do this. I'm going to need to wake up each day hoping that tomorrow will be different. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I don't know that there is a way to fix it. And that's the truth. I was on opiates for so long, and to such an extent, to high amounts, that I don't know that my brain will ever be the same. If it's not by 6 years, I was on Suboxone for a little while, so I reintroduced the opiates to my brain. So maybe it will take longer, but it's been at least 2 or 3 years since the last time I ever took Suboxone. Since I've taken an opiate. So, I don't want people to see this and feel hopeless. That's a fear. I don't like to talk about how hard it is, because I don't want somebody to think that, oh my God, she's 6 years clean and she still feels like shit. Why even try? I don't want somebody to think that. Oh, thank you. Anyway, thank you guys for your support. I thank you that I can come here and be honest with you guys. I think, that we need each other. And I need to come on here and talk about these things. And I need to talk to you guys about how hard it is. If you go to people's channels and they're happy all the time. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm not subscribed to anyone's. I'm subscribed to Her Opiate Fix, because he's a realist, and he's an amazing guy. And that's it. As far as recovery channels, I don't subscribe to recovery channels, because I was. And I just started feeling like there was something wrong with me, because these people are on there. Oh, I'm just happy in recovery, happy, joyous, and free. La, 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 la. Oh my gosh, life is so wonderful. And I'm like going, what? What is wrong with me? Why am I, And so I would just go away. And it's great if it's that way for people. I am not begrudging anybody that's happy in recovery. I'm not. I hope, you don't misunderstand me. I think it'd be great if somebody can feel that way in recovery. I'm just not one of them. I come on here and I share my struggles, because I think that's the realist. And I think that there are so many people out there that wonder, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why am I not feeling better? Will this ever get any better? What, and I want to be that place, that place, a soft place to fall for people, that they can say, Avalon, I feel like giving up because I feel like shit after opiate addiction. And I'm just going to say, here's what I do. I take kratom. It helps. I'm all with your needle in your arm. Don't snort a bag of dope. Do what you got to do. You take Suboxone twice a week so you don't have a needle in your arm. You got to do what you got to do. That's just, people can say abstinence is the only way to be really clean. Really? How long have you been clean? 2 weeks? Come on. Abstinence. While you're smoking cigarettes and drinking 2-3 pots of coffee a day? Give me a break. I even quit smoking, guys. I'm 5 years out from smoking. I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore. Maybe I should start again. No. Maybe it would help me, but no. I'm not going to do that. Yes, and you guys make me feel better too, and I'm glad I did this. But I got to go. I can't believe I've been on 45 minutes. Wow. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here for me. Thank you for supporting me. And I hope that you guys have a good day. And if you need me, message me on Facebook Messenger, AvalonDecker on Facebook Messenger. I am AvalonDecker7@gmail.com for my email. If you want to chat, I don't do phone calls. But I can chat with you. All right. You guys have a good day. Brightest blessings and God is bless.